Hey, Jovan here with your free external clip play for Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Now, you know what's at Pick Dawgz. We love giving our free picks, but if you want my best bets, the best that I'm putting in today, go to the website, pickdawgz.com, where you can find mine or one of our other world-class handicappers picks for today. Now, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Yeah, another rough one. Miami just didn't get the job done. They were blanked in the first five. Their pitching held it down. They gave it 2 runs in the first five, and then the Hellgates came open for them in the last half of the game. They ended up losing 7-1, but it was the first 5 plays, so we're only concerned with the first 5. They didn't score, and that was that. The selection process is basically what did us in. Was on the wrong game. We should have just rinsed and repeated with the Chicago White Sox -0.5. That got the job done in a big way. Those are one of my main teams that I like to go to that get the job done as far as that goes anyway. So, it is what it is. Like I said, the selection process is what did me in, and that's what I want to talk about in this one, the selection process. Now, being that it's baseball, this year I took a different approach and it's worked for me. I've taken less games, but in sports like football and basketball, I'm high volume. And with me having a lot of plays, I have to know that I am selecting the right picks for not only the consumer, but for myself, because I bet these games. I'm not one of these handicappers that handicap games, sell picks, but don't bet my games. So I'm either riding high or I'm sinking with the ship. So I start off every week, let's say football, college football, NFL. I start off the week with a list of games or a list of teams or plays that I want to touch on, or that I want to bet, want to handicap, or feel like this the right side. That's the preliminary. Then I break it down. It could be 40, 50 plays on a college football Saturday, and another 20 for NFL Sunday. I have to break those down because I'm not betting all of those games. I'm not being that exposed. I'm not being overexposed, on a Saturday or a Sunday in football. So I have a set parameter or criteria of what are going to be the strong plays. But sometimes the strongest plays aren't going to be winners as well. So you have to take that into consideration. So for me, as I'm going through the week, as I'm whittling down the games from, let's say, 40 to 20 college football games that I want to take, I have to take them out. So I'm picking and choosing. I'm selecting what's going to be those 20. And sometimes I have to make the hard decisions because I could feel like 25 of them are strong plays. I mean, listen, there's like 50 college football games on a college football Saturday. So there's plenty of plays that are going to be strong going into it pre-game. So those 5 or maybe 10 will determine whether I'm going to have a winning Saturday or Sunday, or I'm going to have a losing Saturday or Sunday. Or let's just stick to Saturday because we're talking about college football. Those 5 out of 40 games, if I take out 15 off the rip, put those aside, 5 of those games, between the 20th and the 25th game, is going to dictate whether I'm going to have a winning day or a losing day. Meaning that there could be, out of those 25, let's say 15 are winners, 10 are losers. I gotta be able to pick the games that are gonna be losers and take them out the mix to get to that 15-10 record. How do you do this? Well, there's no complete science on it. Sometimes you just have to get lucky, but like I said, I'm going back to it. You have to have your criteria on what's going to be a winning play, what's going to be a losing play. Or not really a losing play, but what's going to be a winning play, what's going to be your strongest plays. And if those factors, criterias, or parameters are all hitting for you, then those are the plays that you have to pick. Let's say you have 5 factors on what you look for and what's a winning pick or a strong pick. If any particular player has or meets all 5 factors or all 5 criteria, then you got something cooking, and you should stick with that, and you should select that game. But that's just the little 2 cents that I want to talk about. For me, the selection process is by and large the most important part of my handicapping, at least, and I would say most handicappers. But let's move on to the Extendo clip play of the day, and we are gonna go to a game that I was just talking about, which is the Philadelphia Phillies versus the Chicago White Sox. And it was a game that I should have been on yesterday, should have rinsed and repeated it, but I'm not going to make that mistake twice. The Chicago White Sox against lefties or left-handed pitchers, it's a thing. It's a real thing. And once again, they showed it last night by beating up on the Philadelphia Phillies. And Christopher Sanchez, who has been running through opponents left and right. Last game before this game, he went a complete 9 innings. And that's really a spot where you should fade a pitcher anyway. But he was riding high so much that, it made me back off taking the White Sox. Well, that was a mistake because they did damage once again, and they face another left-handed pitcher in Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo, in his last 2 games, and really all season, he hasn't come correct. He's given up 10 runs in his last 2 outings, and I expect for him to give up more runs now. On the other side, we have Jonathan Cannon. Now, there's a lot of Jonathan Cannon bashers. I get it. He's not the best pitcher, but the White Sox have won his last 5 starts, and considering that he gets the job done, or he has gotten the job done for the most part over the 5-6 game span, I'm liable to back the White Sox, chop this game in half. First 5 innings, -0.5 at +185. We're almost doubling up our money. If this cashes, I expect it to cash. So that's the play. Let's reiterate it real quick. Chicago White Sox, first 5 innings, -0.5 at +185. One thing I didn't mention is that our record for going into this one is 5-5-1. We're at +247, so we're still on the plus side, but let's get this win so we could drive up these numbers. Book your cash and do what you got to do with it, but go to the website, Pickdawgz.com, where you can find mine or one of our other world-class handicappers picks. Now smash that like button. Let's get this money and hit the book where it hurts.